So, good morning, one and all. Today's topic for our presentation is nutrition. So, you have seen this like an apple a day keeps the doctor away. That means food is not only providing us energy, it is also helping us to maintain a proper health. So, coming to the second slide, that is, we know that what is nutrition. So, when we are telling that we should eat very nutritious food, it means that our food should contain all the required components in a proportionate so that we will meet our basic energy requirements. So here it is the process by taking a food and then it is converting it into energy, and this process involves a series of physiological and biochemical reactions. So that is the one which is given in the animation, that inside the cell a lot of things are happening, and finally this food is converted in the form of ATP, by which we are maintaining our body activities and for the proper growth and function. So next is like when we start with the nutrition, it begins what we know is that it is the ingestion and the elimination. So first thing is that by the process of ingestion, we actually taking the food inside our body, and then comes the digestion, in which the food particle is broken down into very smaller particles, which the body can assimilate. And in the when we consider nutrition, mainly these two terms, that is the uh, absorption and assimilation, is the major thing, because absorption is the process by which the cell which is known as the basic structural and functional unit of the body, will take up the food inside the cell, and by the process of assimilation the food particles is incorporated into the cell and it is involved in various activities, and finally whatever these products are remains undigested or unused waste products will get eliminated from our body. So coming to the functional classification of nutrients, there are basically means when we are considering it, it includes 6 parts. One is essential nutrient, in which water we know that we cannot survive with water. Then comes the macronutrients. Macro, the name itself suggests that we need to take up in a large quantity, like it needs carbohydrate, lipids, proteins. Then comes the micronutrients, which is very required in a very limited quantity, but the absence can actually render the growth. So it includes vitamins, minerals, and trace elements. And here you can see a food chart in which it suggests what proportion we should take. So macronutrients definitely comes at the base and followed by, and always follow this chart so that we will have a healthy diet and lifestyle. Next is about the outline classification. As I said, again, this could be categorized into different categories, like energy providing, that is the macronutrients. Then the growth promoting. In growth promoting, protein is the major part. Along with that, we know the minerals like calcium and phosphorus also is very much required. And comes the protective food, in which it has a multiple role in our body, including the immunity, maintaining the cell health, everything like minerals, vitamins, special proteins, includes the antibodies which you call. And then water, definitely it is a very at most required, at least 8 glasses of water is required in a day. And the dietary fibers, that also is very important component of the food, because this is helpful for it's very useful for our gut, and again it helps to facilitate the bowel movement properly. Otherwise, if you are not consuming enough dietary fibers, you will experience constipation and other problems. Next comes what we will see one by one how it is going. So first comes the carbohydrate. So we know that brain, its major source, which we tell is glucose. Body is converting first into glucose, and compared to any other organ, brain is the region which it requires a continuous this glucose supply. So for brain activities, even our blood also, it should maintain a proper quantity of glucose, and many hormones, glucagon, insulin, etc., are helping to maintain its balance, and it's a form of energy. Along with that, as I said, in the carbohydrate, some of the fibers which are very rich and which are useful in the gut, where this fibers are very means for constipation and all is very useful, and for the heart also. If we include more similar type of diet, I think it's very good for our heart. And again, it's also a source of build up, like the carbohydrate like glycogen is actually used for building up the muscles. So in that way, carbohydrate is unavoidable and it's a macronutrient. Then comes the protein. Protein is also providing many essential function of the body. As I said, protein is the major part which is gaining for our muscle mass. Other than that, proteins have many other protective function, like and all enzymes are proteins. So from that, we know that many of the enzymes which is actually helping in different processes, the protein is the major help component. Then comes it provides the support. Other than that, even the hormones also synthesized mainly from the food, protein type of food we eat. And even the hemoglobin, the globin part, where we know that which carries our oxygen and all, that is also a sort of protein. And then the immunoglobulins as well. Then comes the fat. Fat is also very necessary. Some people say that it's like we need zero fat and all, but it's not a good trend, because fat itself has some very important function in our body. That's why while cooking and all, we put little oil and cook. So here fat again for brain, mainly brain, this cerebral hemisphere contains a lot of regions which are rich in these lipids, and even in our cells also lipid forms an important component. Then similar way, it helps in insulation, because we especially or we need to maintain a constant body temperature, and for that fat is helping us a lot. And then comes for skin and all, those who are eating proper, means it's not excess also not good, but in a minimal proportion it's helping to keep our skin very glowing and all. And then gut also, it's especially many of the vitamins, at least the four type of vitamins like A, D, E and K are fat soluble vitamins, so they need fat to transport to the body. Next comes the minerals. Minerals also, though it's required in very less quantity, and whatever the requirements are listed in the second column. So it has multiple function in our body. Like you must have heard, the sodium potassium pump is constantly acting for nerve impulse conduction. Then comes the iron, which is a major part of hemoglobin, has some function. Then zinc is providing the immunity. Then like that, our full body from head to toe, wherever we are taking, some role is played by mineral. Even the lithium, it's less required in very less quantity, but it's acting as a mood stabilizer. And I think majority of the minerals, some way or other way, are helping us to maintain a balance, and especially the electrolyte balance also. This is very important. Then comes the classification of vitamins. Vitamins also is required in very trace quantity, and basically there are two categories. Like as I said earlier, the fat soluble vitamins are there. Their names are given, which you can refer later. Then comes the water soluble vitamin. This water soluble comprises of a complex of vitamin B and then vitamin C. So vitamin B complex itself is formed of 9 different vitamin B, and C, definitely you know, it's immunity. And during COVID time, everyone was suggesting that we should eat enough of vitamin C in our diet to provide immunity. And again, the other vitamin B complexes, again, it has its particular functions, and it could be classified into 3 categories, like energy releasing vitamin, then hemopoietic vitamin, where it's important in our RBC or the red blood cells, then from pyridoxine. Coming to the functions, we know that definitely majority functions of vitamin A and all is related to providing a proper, it's very important for the eyes and all. So that deficiency disorders we will see in our next class. Then vitamin E is very special for sterility and other factors. And also this vitamin D, as I said, vitamin D requires sunlight for its activation. Calcium also required. So vitamin D provides strength to our bones. And K is important factor required in blood clotting, because if a cut is formed, generally the blood clots at a particular time and we will get saved. But if vitamin K is lacking in our diet, that can lead to prolonged bleeding. Then comes water soluble vitamin. Again, the functions are same, and as I said, majority of involved in the as acting as a cofactor, or it has a function in, as a genetic material. Then lot of functions, and again the concentration is very low, like it's giving in some milligrams to mcg only. mcg is one of the 1 million. Then comes water. Water is definitely very important, and we always tell that we should have enough water also in our diet, because our major body weight comes from water, and in blood, the major composition is water itself. And water acts as a medium of transport of all the nutrients from to various parts of our body. And again, it especially for maintaining a proper temperature and all, it required water is very essential. And also during our life activities, lot of toxins and free radicals are getting generated inside the body, and water is the one actually helping the neutralizing effect. So always drink water. Then comes the daily calorie requirement. As I said, there are different, when we include a nutritious food, what it means that we should have count on the calorie also. And healthy weight, to maintain a healthy weight, we need to take this food in a proper definite quantity. And when coming to the childhood, especially they are growing up, in that time there is no difference between the male and female child, and both of them should give an equal quantity of this calories in your diet. Again, it depends upon whether they are sedentary, they are following a sedentary lifestyle, active lifestyle, moderately active and all. So again, and after some age, the males are building up more protein and part muscle mass. So for that, there is a minor deviation. Like males require little more calorie rich food, but better that after 30 years and all, at least by 50, our calories also should be cut down, because then the blood cells and all will get tired, and it won't be taken up as what it used to do when it's very in the beginning period. Then coming that again, when you eat food, some people prefer that they should use the alternatives. Like some people don't like fruits, they use juice, but it's not that recommended, because when we're making like orange juice itself, we are losing a lot of fibers in that. And as I said, fibers are important for our heart and for our gut. So that type of thing will not work out. And even the milk also, when we some people prefer curd over milk, but that also it has a differences. Like especially you can see the quantity of vitamin E, vitamin D, then vitamin B12. All this very essential. It is more in milk, but it's comparing to that, it's less in the curd. So finally, I just want to know that when you are trying to have a nutritious food, you always keep an eye on your BMI. BMI could be calculated just by dividing this weight in kilogram per height in meters square, and better to have this in this range, the normal BMI, because in search of getting nutrition, you should not overfeed yourself also. Okay, thank you for today's, and see you in the next class, in which we will discuss upon the different deficiency disorders. Thank you.